Hello, good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, okay, just a second. Let me share my screen. We'll revise what all the concepts we studied yesterday, and then we'll move further with some advanced CSS concepts and JavaScript. Let me just share my screen. Okay, so I hope my screen is visible. Yeah, is my screen visible? I guess it's visible right now. So let me just start with what we studied yesterday. I'll quickly go through all of the notes. So, in the starting, we studied about the introduction of cascading style sheets. What exactly is CSS? So, there are basically three ways of importing your styles in CSS. The first one is basically using the inline styling. What we can say is like this, something like inline styling, yeah, something like this. H1 style equal to purple. When we write something like this, then this is basically your inline CSS. The another method that we use for writing this style is the style, using this style tag, opening and closing tag, and inside that we write h2. This is the this is the selector, and if you want to change the color of heading to pink, we write color pink. This is the second step of like importing styles, and the best approach which we consider in writing the CSS is by creating an external file in the same location where our index.html file is located. We write link and related to style, rel style sheet, and href which contains the location of like the name of our file, which is styles.css. And this is the third and the best approach to use like style sheet, our cascading style sheet. So after that, we studied what are some different attributes. So there are a lot of attributes, just like there are a lot of HTML tags. There are a lot of attributes that are present in CSS. Some of them including the color, which can change the text color, the background color, which can change the background of like any object, and background, which includes a lot of things which we'll study today, like how to change the background image of a web page and many more things. So apart from that, there are generally two ways of writing like colors, like actually three ways. We can write the name of the color like this: red, green and blue, or yellow. And the second method is by writing it as RGB value, where the first one is the R value, then G, and then B value. So red, blue, red, green, blue color. And another method is writing it by in the form of hexa codes. I also showed you one website, the color hunt website, where you can get a lot of different hexa codes colors, and you can use them in your web page basically. So whenever we have to write anything, we write it like this. So this was what we studied about colors. Then we studied about the text properties, like we can align the text to center or to the right or to the left of our web page. We can increase the font weight, like we can make our text a little bit bold, or we can make it a little bit like lighter or thin. So this was how we can change like the font weight. And after that, what we else we can do is we can use the text decoration like section, and we can create underlines, we can create dashed lines, and also overline, like cross lines and different types of lines we can create. Then we had this line height, which can like create vertical space between two paragraphs or two lines, text lines basically. Another which we studied was letter spacing. We can create space between different letters in our web page. Then another that we studied was the font size, that we can increase the size of our text by using the font size element. And there were also a lot of units. One of them which we used in the initial was the pixel unit, and it is a static unit, it does not change with the screen. Then we studied about the font family, and we came to know that there are a lot of font families and a lot of style fonts in Google Fonts, and we can embed them in our code and we can easily use them. Then we studied about how there are different types of selectors. So there were a lot of selectors in like in CSS. Like first one was this universal selector. If we write the star symbol, then everything in our body is selected. After that, if we use this element selector, then any element, be it h1 or div, h2, p, any kind of this element we can select and we can add styles to it. Suppose we want to add the same styles to more than like one element, so what we do, we add comma and we write them like this. Another one was, suppose we have given id to our element, our html element, and we want to add style to it, so we can write for adding like any style property, we write hash and then the name of that id. Suppose I have the id name as my heading, so I will write hash and heading. So this is how I write my styling properties for css for id. Same was the class selector. Like for writing the class, I write the name of the class starting with a dot. So this is how I write class, and we write here property and the value of the css. Suppose I want to write dot heading, so I can write dot heading and then starting with that, like opening parenthesis and closing, and then I'll write inside the parenthesis css. So the difference between class and id, class is just like an id, but class can be applied to group of objects. Like I can use multiple classes in my code, but I should not use like different, like same id in different, like different. Suppose I have 5 paragraphs, then I should not write same id name in that paragraphs. It's not a good approach. And another thing is, it can be applied to elements which are different, like a and h1. So the classes can also be applied to different anchor tags and different h1 tags also. Now next that we studied about was the descendant selector. So all the anchor tags which are present inside like the list will change their color to this teal color. So see, I have written here also, it selects all the anchor tags that are nested inside the list items. Then we had adjacent selector, which means that all of the paragraphs that are present with along with, like just immediately after some h1, they will change their color. Then we have this direct child selector, which means that we will select all the list items that are direct descendants of a div, that are direct descendants. Like if it is present directly inside a div, then only we'll change the color of that list item. After that, we studied like about this attribute selector, in which if I rate input and type of something, then I'll be able to change its style. After that, we studied about some of the pseudo classes. Like if I write this hover option, then if I hover on like some text or like some button, we'll be able to change the color. The active one, if I click on it, then it will be changing its color, and many more. Then we studied how we can change the first letter or the first line of the text, and how I can change the selection color, and after and before. There are a lot of pseudo elements basically. And another thing that we studied was the order is also very important. Suppose I have created to h1 and I have like this red color and purple color, then the one color that we declare in the last, for example here purple color will be overshadowed over the this red color, and we'll see purple color only. So this is also called the cascading property in css. It also matters across different style sheets. So in style sheets also, if I have declared two like css files, suppose I have created style 1.css and style 2.css, I have created two and I have imported them also in my like HTML file. Then the one file which I have created in the last, like style2.css, that will be incorporated. That styles will be incorporated in my HTML basically. So what happens with different selectors target the same element. So specific a selector, it will be determined by the browser. For example, if I have given like name and class to h1. If I have given name, class and id both to my h1, then id will be given more preference as compared to class. Similarly, pseudo classes will be given more preference than any element and pseudo element. So these are the preference like orders. Suppose I have element selector, they will be given less preference as compared to if I've used class selector. Now you can practice it and you can just go through it, which is more specific and which is not. Then we had this inline styling, like style, and this is the most specific, like it overshadows everything that is present in the like our code. So this is not used basically that much because it overpowers all these styles. And suppose I have this written in my button, then no matter whatever style I've applied, only my color coral will be displayed on my screen. Then there was an important exception. Suppose I write in any style this not symbol and important, then what happens? My like this important symbol will be displayed. Fine. So have you understood up till this part? The website name was colorhunt.css. So at on this particular website you can check out like the different color codes, the hexa codes that we have. We studied about the box model, inside box model, how we have different margin, padding, border, and all these styles. These are the shorthands, like we write width and then we write border style and then the border color, like width 2 pixel solid border and I want it color black, then I will write it like this. I can also add border radius, I can also add padding like I have applied here, the 5 pixel on like left and right portions, and the like up and down portion I have applied 5 pixels, and on the left and right portion I have applied this 10 pixel. So there are four methods of writing padding basically in my code. If I write 10 pixel, then 10 pixel will be applied on all four sides. If I write it like in two parts, then 5 pixel will be applied on up and down portion, and on the left right portion 10 pixel will be applied. If I write in three times, then on the top 1 pixel, on my left and right portion 2 pixel, and on my like last portion will be 2 pixel. And if I write it on four sides, then 5 pixels starting from the top, then we'll move clockwise, 5 pixel on top, then 1 pixel on the right side, and 0 pixel at the bottom, 2 pixel at the left. So this is how shorthand properties work, and they are similar for all margin and like all of the things. So border box, it tells us about where we have like in my, if I go to inspect in my browser, by right clicking on my browser, going to the last portion and clicking on inspect, I'll be able to see border box, where I will be able to see which element has how many margin, padding, and border basically. Then we studied about this display property. So there are three types of display properties in css: display inline, display block, and and inline block. So when we use inline display property, then we are not able to give any width and height to our element, and also we are not able to give any type of margin. Another thing was, if we use block, we are able to add like the width and height, and they will be displayed in vertical, like they will be vertically stacked. They will cover the entire horizontal area that they are given on the web page. If we use inline block, then they will not use the entire horizontal area, they will function as inline, but we'll be able to also use the properties of block elements. For example, like we'll be able to add margin and width and height to an element. Then we studied about these different units. We have like the static units: pixel, centimeter, inch, and mm. These are the static units. They do not change when we like reduce the width of and size of the screen. Then we had this relative units like percentage, em, and rem, which change according to the size of the like our viewpoint, like our viewport. So now we are going to like study about new topic, which is like the opacity and the alpha number. Like we are going to study about this. So opacity basically refers to how much transparency we are going to like give to our element. Suppose I this is also called like alpha channel in RGB. Suppose I have to like add color to some element. Let me show you with an example. Yeah, I have given this id RGBA. Okay, so if I just go there and copy path and open this in my, just a second. Yeah, so I have here the RGBA symbol, which is applied on this lorem ipsum, like some code, like some text. And let me go to styles.css also here. Let me just open my index.html file here. So I have applied on id, I have applied some styles on my id name is RGBA. If I go to my styles.css, which is connected here, go to RGBA, then I'll be able to see that okay, this is given width of 50%. Let me just remove everything from here so that it is like much more clear what I'm trying to comprehend. Let me just remove every other section. What is my RGBA in my like code? This particular div is my RGBA. Okay. Let me also remove styling of the section. Let me just comment this out. Okay. So for now, what I have is I have only one div on my like whole web page. See, if you see the whole code, what I have is I have this one div only on my web page. This is my code, the doc type HTML. Okay, starting with doc type HTML, language English, the head section containing this style sheet link related to style sheet, and title, opacity and alpha. Then we have inside the body only this div. Rest of the things are commented out basically. Okay, so what color this div is showing basically? Right now, this div is showing no color. Okay, there is no color in it. Suppose I go here and I apply this background color. Okay, let me give some like color to this div. Just a second. Lorem ipsum id RGBA. Yeah, so this is this RGBA value. Let me change it to some like dark color. Okay, let me change it to like this blue color. Okay, that way you'll be able to see this more clearly. If I hit on refresh, you can see I have this zero point 0.7 value. Let me just remove it for now and click on refresh. Let me just give height and width of yeah, background color, border, to show it more clearly, basically 2 pixels, solid black. Okay, yeah, so this particular section is my ID. Let me increase the height and width of this also, 500 pixels in height and 500 pixels in width. Okay, let me just refresh it. So this is my like div, particularly it contains some lorem ipsum. Let me just remove this background color, try adding some color to it. Let me just add background color to black. Let's check what happens. Yeah, background color has changed to black, but what we want is we want to add some RGB color to it. So let me just select some RGB color. Yeah, see, I have selected this RGB color as black. This is 000, so this is black color, RGB, red, blue and green. If I hit on save, go back, hit refresh, nothing happens because these all three are black in color. Let's change it to like some other color. Let me change it to what I can say. Let's search on the web. Let's take some color. RGPA color picker. Okay, let's go to some website and let's take this particular value. This is this pink color value, RGB 245, 40, 145 and zero point 0.8. So let me just write it here. Yeah, RGBA, this color. Okay, let me add semicolon. So this was this error. Now let me just refresh it. See, what happened was I have changed this RGBA value to some random colors, like these colors, 245, 40, 145. And what is this fourth portion? This is this alpha number, which is defines the opacity, like how much opaque your div should be. Suppose I change it to zero point 0.3. Okay, then this color will remain the same, but the amount of like transparency will reduce. Now it has reduced to some like some lighter color. Suppose I give it just zero point 0.1, I hit on refresh, then you can see it has become more transparent. So the lesser the value, the more transparent it is. Suppose I give this transparency alpha value 0. Okay, click on refresh, then you can see the color has like gone from like here. Suppose I give it 1, then let's see what happens. It will be opaque. See, the exact color has we have achieved. If I reduce it to something like zero point 0.7, then I'll be able to achieve the same like transparency effect that I had before. Understood? Oh, okay. So this is like what I can say. This is my alpha, like opacity and the alpha channel basically that we use. See, red, blue, red color, first number that comes is for red color, then we have this green, then we have this blue, and the last one is this alpha. So what alpha does is 0 means transparent and 1 means opaque, and any value in between them we can adjust the transparency according to it. So RGBA only affects the property it's called for. Okay, now opacity determines entire element's transparency, including text and descendants. Now, what happens is, suppose I have written this opacity or something like this. Then we can also change the color. Suppose in my styles.css, I remove this background color. Add. I just write in my background color. Just a second, yeah. If I just write my background color as plain yellow, or let me say black. If I just write here black, go back, click on refresh, then you can see the color of this background color has reduced to black. If I write opacity here, opacity to point like 5, then let's check what happens. The opacity of like this RGB value should reduce. Fine. So you can see everything that was present on my the text also. This has reduced its transparency. Everything has become like grayish color. Okay. If I change it to like pink, let's see what happens. If I click on refresh, then you can see this text has also become like a little bit transparent. In the previous case, what was happening? In the previous case, text remained the same. Like the text color was black only. It was not getting transparent. But when I write opacity, see the if I write here zero point 0.4 or something like that, then we are not getting changed of this like this text color. It is black and opaque. But when I use like the opacity value, if I use opacity here, then my text color also changes. So it is very important thing to note, like what you should use in that particular case, RGBA or opacity for making anything transparent. Fine. Yeah, opacity means a darker and transparency means lighter, basically. Correct. You can write both. You can write in your code opacity also and transparency also. Suppose I had written here like let me just change this like RGBA value to, if I write 1 here, then 1 means opaque, and this will be opaque for now. If I write here opacity to like zero point 0.2 for example, then you can see everything has become transparent including my text. This was not happening previously when I was writing background color. My text was not changing at all, but here my text has also like become transparent. I can also write here like transparency, trans. No, I don't think we can write transparency here in this. We have this transition property. You can check out. You can just Google it and check if we can write transparency just like opacity. Okay, just check it. So we had this important difference between opacity and the alpha like channel. Okay, fine. Yes, I'll share the notes. Now we also use like alpha channel with hex colors. Suppose I want to like make gray color. Okay, so I can write here the hash. FF means like my white color. So for differentiating, I will write 00. This is for black color. 00, and I can write in the end my like transparency number. Let's see what they have written. They have written 00 for transparent and FF for opaque. So if I write here 00 is for transparent, let me write FF and check what happens. If I write FF here, then something in between this will come. Something in between, like of the opaque and transparent. So blue color has come. If I just change it to like transparent, then let's see what happens. If I just write here 00, then everything will be transparent and no new color will come here. This is the black color. So we can also use this with like our hex colors basically. I have to change the last two digits for transparent and for like opaque. Okay, these two are red, these two are like green, and these two are blue. And then we have this basically alphanumeric character. Let's try writing this once again. Suppose I want a color FFEE 00. So can you see what color we are getting? We are getting a yellow color with this like hexacode FFEE and 00. We are getting some yellow color. Okay. And if I write after that, these are the two colors. The blue value, the EE is the green value, and FF is the like uh, red value. So if I just right here the let me say the transparent value I have written here. So what happens with the transparent value? Everything becomes black. Okay, nothing will be like displayed. So this is the like basically transparent. If I write here opaque, so what will happen? I will get yellow color only. Okay, opaque means I will get everything opaque, and yeah, like the transparent color means that I will get everything like transparent. I will not be able to see yellow color. Fine. What background equal to transparent you are not able to understand? At what portion you are not able to understand? Yeah, opacity can be used for both opacity and transparency. If you write point like opacity to point 0.9, then it will be more opaque. If you write opacity point 0.1, then it will be more transparent. uh, Dhan Lakshmi, you are asking what? Can you please repeat your question, ma'am? Using background to transparent. I'm not able to understand this. Let me move further. If anyone has any doubt, please write in the chat box. Okay, I'll address the issue. Fine. So now comes the position properties in CSS. Okay, so what are these position properties? Position properties just determine how our element is basically positioned in a document. What this means, let me just like show you simply. Suppose I have this like HTML file. This is index.html. Let's just check out what is written on this web page to like understand more clearly. This is simply doc type HTML. Then we have HTML language equal to English. Then we have head section. Inside head section, we have title, and we have the link style sheet of styles.css. Fine. Then we have added some like styles to it, the styles in the head section with the second method of writing css. So we have written parent display inline block, like all of these things. Child one, I have given some styles and all of these things. Then I have written div, and inside div I have added more div, 1, 2 and 3. So for now, let me just simplify it a bit for understanding purposes. Let me just remove all of these styles. I'll create all the styles in my styles.css file. Okay, I have this div class name of parent, like this is parent. Then I have three child divs inside this. These are child divs. This is my parent div, and this is my child div. Div 1, div 2 and div 3. Okay, let me just see what I am like getting displayed on my browser. Okay, so for now we are getting something like this, something vague, a very vague thing. Let me just remove some styling also from here. I have removed for now everything. There is no styling here for now. Okay, I have removed everything. I also removed some styling that is present here. Child 1, child 2 and child 3. Yeah, let me just remove all the styles, all the classes also, for understanding everything better. I'll write everything from the start. Okay, so first of all, I have this parent div. Okay, then I have this 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so let me give some width and height to all of these divs, parent div also and the child div also. So let's start with giving class of okay, it's already given a that parent div is given class parent, and first child div will be given class 1, second child div will be given class 2, and third will be given class 3. Then I go to my styles.css file. For writing class, I will write dot and then parent. Okay, this is my first class. Let me just zoom it a bit. So this is my first parent. Let me give width of approximately 700 pixels width, and let me say 500 pixels or 700 pixels height. Okay, I have given this much height, and let me give some background color for differentiation. Let me give background color to this parent div yellow. I go and click on refresh. Okay, I'm not getting anything. Why? Styles.css class is parent. Just a second. Index and styles, they are present in the same folder. Index.html, parent 1, 2 and 3. Let me just try writing something in this. Something is written here. Okay, I have written this in different styles.css file. Let me just close everything. Okay, yeah. So I was basically writing it in different styles. It was in different folder basically. So first of what I had to write, I had to write dot parent. Okay, so this is my first like parent. So I will give width of like 700 pixels to it, height of 700 pixels to it, and let me give some background color to my parent of yellow. Let's check what happens. See, what happens is my parent has received color of yellow. Okay, now let me do the same for my three child divs. my three child divs. These are 1, 2, and 3. Let me give some color, background color, and height width to them also. So first one is my 1. This is the first child. So width of, like, suppose I give them width of 200 pixels, height of 200 pixels, and background color black. Okay, this is my first child. This is inside the parent, so I will get this inside parent only, right? Is this is inside this div, so I will get this in particular div, inside this particular div only. One. Let me do the same. Let me add the same styles to my 2 and 3. Okay, so let me just copy this and paste this here. Same. I will change color to this color to red and this color to blue. Okay, so let me go back it on refresh. See, so this particular yellow portion is the parent div. This is my first child, second and third. Okay, understood? Portion up till here. Yes, I share them. Okay, so we have given the background color also. So now let's see what happens. Okay, suppose I add the position property of, like, relative to it. Okay, and I give the position property of absolute to my first child. Let's see what happens. My, like, red portion, it has disappeared, it has gone out of the screen. I don't know where it is right now. Okay, I don't know where it is. So where has it gone? Let me just one by one remove everything. Okay, so let me just comment first. Let me just remove my third child. Okay, this red div is not here, like first child is not present here. Let me just remove the second one. Let me just try removing it. Okay, so let me just refresh it. This has not removed. Which one has not removed? Yeah, so you can see that. Let me just show you once again. When I was writing 2, I am able to see black, my first parent above my second one. Let me just comment first one. Then you will be able to see that it was, like, on the top of my second child. My, like, first, like, I have given position absolute to my black colored first div, and it had, like, come over, like, it was position on the top of my second parent. Okay, let me just comment out. Let me just add it again. If I add it, see, above 2 I will get my first div. Basically, this is my first div with position absolute property. Let me write, let me give left to, like, suppose 20 pixels. I say left to 20 pixels. Let's see what happens. I refresh here. See, I have given 20 pixels here, and what happens? My first child, which was absolute position, this first particular black div was absolute position. Now it has shifted leftwards to 20 pixels. See, from the left it has shifted towards 20 pixels. Let me just increase it to 100 pixels. You'll be able to understand more clearly. See, now it has shifted to 100 pixels. Similarly, I can give top value to it of around, suppose, 200 pixels. Refresh. See, this has gone down. Like, it has received this much, like, spacing from the top. So why is this happening? Basically, what the position absolute property does is it goes and finds out where the position, like, relative property is written, and it changes its, like, height and width according to that particular its parent, basically. So for now, its parent, the position relative property, wherever this value will be written, it will be shifted according to, like, that particular portion only. Suppose I have this, so it will be shifted according to this. Fine. Similarly, let me just remove this and bring back all the divs. Okay. See, this was the original like scenario, and this black one, this black div went out of the like document flow. It went out. It did not matter where everything is. It was not like it was like overpowering, like it was coming on the top of other divs. Understood how this like the parent of the black div will be the one. Okay, I can change the color of one to green for your better understanding. See, the parent of black div is the parent div, like this div, this one. I have given class of parent, and I have applied like the position property to relative. Which what it means, position property of relative? It means that relative to itself it will move. Okay, relative to like relative to anything, the if we have given position absolute to any of the things, then it will move accordingly. I will change the color of like first one to green for better understanding. Let me just change it to green. Okay, go back, hit refresh. Okay, let's just try all of the position properties one by one, so it will be better understood. Let me just go to the position property. Yeah, so here are the notes. Yeah, so there are different type of like position properties. First one is the static property. It is given to us by default. Like if I write anywhere, suppose this is my first child, I write position to position property of first child to static. Okay, and I try, go back, refresh, nothing happens. Okay, nothing happens to my first one. Basically, if I write move left to around 20 pixels, I say to the green one move left to around 20 pixels, I go and refresh, nothing happens, because the position static does not have any effect on any of these values. Whatever I write, no matter I write left top, move top to 20 pixels, or move right to 20 pixels, or anything, whatever thing I write, uh, I will also explain you what the z index is about, but they will have no effect basically on my like div. So this is given to us by default, and it does not have any effect on like anything. They will remain static, and they will remain at the same position where it is currently located in our like document. The second position property is relative. So what it does, it keeps the element in the flow of the document, but we can change it, like it relative to itself. Okay, so suppose I give to my first child, suppose I give position. Okay, I give position of relative to my like green color div. Okay, I refresh, nothing happens. It has gone nowhere. But what I can do is I can give it to left of 20 pixels. Suppose, let's see what happens. It has moved left to 20 pixels. So what this means, this means that this like green color div is now moving relative to itself only. It does not need any parent. Okay, it is moving relative to itself only, and it has moved 20 pixels from the left. Okay, I can also move it like move top from top 50 pixels. Move 50 pixels from top. Let's see what happens. See, it does not matter whatever thing is there like below. It has like it has come over the second like child. It is on the second child, but it has moved 50 pixel from the top. Okay, and it does not matter where it is located basically. So what this relative position does, it keeps the element in the flow of the document. It remains in the flow, but we can change it. Okay, we can use negative values also. Suppose I have this, and I what I do is, let me give left of minus 20 pixels and see what happens. Okay, let me just refresh it. See, it has moved inside my like screen. Let me just give it to minus 100 pixels and see what happens. See, it has moved so much inside, like 100 pixels inside this screen, basically. So we can also use negative offset here in my position relative also. And one thing more, it's not very handy and useful position property, position relative, because it's not very used. We generally use the position absolute property. Okay, a lot in our code we use the third property. We don't use this position relative property that much. Okay, we use it on parent container, like I had previously used. We use it on parent container, and then we absolutely position a child element, basically. Okay, so have you guys understood about the static and relative position property? Yeah, it has moved in the opposite direction. It's not moving in the opposite direction, but it is like getting placed in the opposite direction. I had given minus like 200 pixels, sorry, minus 100 pixels to this div, and it had moved inside like this div. Let me just give it minus 1000 pixel and check what happens in my like first one. Let me give it. Yeah, this is the position property. I will give minus 200 pixels. I have given minus 200 pixels. Let's see what happens. It has gone more inside this. See, let me give minus 2000 pixels. It has gone fully inside this, right? It has gone fully inside this. So this is the use of basically the negative offset. Understood? Okay. So I hope you guys have understood about the position relative property and the static property. Third one is the position absolute property. So what happens? Suppose, let me just do one thing. This is my parent, and I will remove this position relative property from here, and I will also remove all the position relative properties here. I will bring my, yes, right. Suppose I have this, okay, and let me give some left margin to my parent div. Okay, let me give some left margin to my parent div of approximately, suppose I take 40 pixels. I have given left margin of 40 pixel to my parent div, and everything has shifted to 40 pixel. Let me just give something more. Let me give it 40%. I want it to be at the center of my page, so I have given it like this, some less 30%. Okay, I have given 30% to my parent div, and everything has shifted accordingly. All the contents of the div have shifted. I have not given position, just remember I have given left margin. Now let's see what happens. I give my like position relative to this green one, this first, my first child, and move it left of around, let's see what happens. I've given position relative. Okay, and let me give top to 0 pixels. Let's see what happens. Nothing happens. Okay, so top is not working. Just look at these things. Top is not working. Top is there only, and bottom, like, let me see, left of around like let me give it to minus 10 pixels. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it has moved a bit from its position to minus 10 pixel. Okay, let me move it to minus 100 pixels. Yeah, it has moved top to the like this much. Okay, let me give it 200 pixels. If I give 0 pixel, it will not move anywhere. So I have given 200 pixel, it has moved downward, and it is also covering the basically my second that portion. Okay, I have given left of around 300 pixels. Okay, let's see where it goes. It goes there. Okay, the top 200 pixels and then left. See, this is the use of like relative. You have seen relative. Now let me just do one thing. This was my relative positioning. Okay, refresh everything. Then let's check what absolute does. What is the difference between relative and absolute? Let me write position absolute. Okay, click on refresh. See what has happened. What basically has happened? There is some difference than relative. What has happened basically? Can anyone tell me? Anyone? See what has happened is, yeah, it works relative to its position. Okay, that's why the name of like position is given. See, if we give position relative, then it will move according to its relative previous position now. So suppose it's present at zero position in the start, so I want to move to from top 20 pixel, so it will move from 0 pixels to 20 pixels basically. Okay, so that's why it's a bit different. Like if you give top value as positive, then it will go down, and if you give negative value, then it will go up. It will like move, it will be like opposite a little bit. Fine. So the difference that we are seeing here is, this one has gone out of my flow. When I was doing position relative here, when I was doing position relative here, then my like first block, like my first child was present at its designated position, and it and they both were taking up the space basically. They had taken up this one space. Then after two came, but what has happened, as soon as I gave position absolute, then this one has gone out of the flow, and these the parent two, the child 2 and 3 are taking up its position basically. In the relative one, they were not doing so. If I write here relative, then 2 and 3 are coming below the first child. As soon as I gave this the absolute positioning, okay, what happened, the 2 took up space of 1. The 2 is behind 1. Let me just show you. I will give the top value of 20 pixel, let me say, yeah, 100 pixels. Okay, and my left value as 100 pixels. Okay, I refresh. See what has happened is, this is my 2 has taken up space of 1. In relative positioning, this was not happening. Okay, and another thing to notice, it has moved so much out of the HTML flow that it is taking the left margin, left how many pixels, only 100 pixels from the starting of the document. This was not happening in relative positioning. In relative positioning, it was taking according to its position 100 pixels, according to its previous position. Understood? Yeah. So have you understood the difference between the absolute and relative positioning? Yeah. Let me explain it to you once again. Suppose I have the relative positioning to my first child. I have top of 100 pixels. Okay, top of 100 pixels to my first child, and left of 100 pixels to my first child. Let's see what happens. Okay, nothing else. See, top of 100 pixels, and it has taken left of 100 pixels from where? From its previous position. From its previous position where it was located, it has taken left portion of 100 pixels. Okay, let me now add position absolute to my second child. Okay, and let's see what happens. As soon as I give position absolute to my red child, or the second child, it has gone out of the flow, and blue has taken its position. Okay, blue has taken its position. Blue is below this 2. If I give like the top position as 10 pixels, suppose, and I give like the left of around 10 pixels only. Okay, let's see what happens. It has gone, like 2 has gone here. It has taken from the starting of the browser, 10 pixels from the top and 10 pixels from the left. And relative positioning, what it has done, it has taken relative to its previous position. Fine. Yeah, absolute goes out of the flow. Relative states with its parent, or you can say with its previous position, it counts. It counts the pixels from where it was located at the start, and after that, it goes to the next location. Fine. So this is about the like the position absolute property. See, absolute position in element inside the parent container that it can reference, the parent it refers must have positioning not equal to static. If it doesn't find a suitable parent, it will lie relative to the HTML element. Now see, one thing more is what happens is this is going this the second block. See, it is going according to like the whole HTML document, starting of my browser page, like my browser page, 10 pixel 10 pixel. So it needs one, if I give it one parent which is not static, like if it is, if I give, suppose this is my parent, I give it position relative. Okay, please be relative to everything. Okay, so let's see what happens. I have given parent position. See, my second child is now taking up the space according to the parent which I have given the position relative property. Okay, so this means that wherever I give position absolute, it needs one parent where there should be a position relative property present. Okay, there should be a parent of two present which should have a position like relative property. So if I want to like add two, like make two to be the center of like parent, to come to the center, let me just make one come to like position of its initial position. Okay, and I want this like second one which is position absolute currently to be at the center portion of parent. So what I'll do, I'll give 50% from the top of the parent and left go 50% left of the parent. Okay, now its new parent is not the HTML document but the uh, yeah, top minus 100 pixels in relative. Okay, I have right now given parent to as position relative property. Let me give uh, top of like minus 100 pixels to parent only. Okay, if you are taking up that example, let me just go. See, this is right now my parent. Okay, it will move 100 pixels on the top. Okay, at the like start of the screen, it has gone there. Fine. So I hope you have understood the concept. So the position absolute needs one parent with position relative property to work inside, like to position inside that parent basically. If you don't want it to go completely out of the flow, then you can use the position relative property and then position absolute. Fine. So this is my position relative property. I remove this top, and what I do is I just uh, give it top of 0 and left of 0. Okay, it should go at the top, like top left portion. Okay, I go, I hit refresh. See, it has gone on the parents top 0 position and top left position. Okay, if I give here right, go to the rightmost position. Okay, at the top rightmost position of the parent. See, it has gone to the top rightmost position of the parent. Suppose I say it to it, go to the bottom rightmost position of the parent. Okay, I go hit refresh, it has gone to the bottom rightmost section. Suppose I say to it, go to the bottom leftmost position of the parent. Why it will go with the parent? Because I have given position relative to dot parent class. Okay, see, this is my, it has gone to the bottom left. Suppose I remove it from here, then what will happen? It will be displayed, it will take the position according to the browser's position. Okay, this is like the bottom left, so it will go here. If I want it to be at the top left, then it will be at the top left. This is the use of absolute position in this basically. Understood? So absolute positioning is also done. The fixed what there is also another like position property which is fixed. It is very similar to absolute. Fixed position elements, they also lie relative to HTML elements, but one thing is they stay in the in the same place even if we scroll through the page. Okay, they are generally used in nav bars. So let me just show you an example. Suppose I increase the class parents height to let's suppose 1500 pixels. Okay, for now just see it. Let me just remove the second child's position property also. Okay, or let me just write it down. Okay, I have given this. So if I scroll down, all the childs are getting getting out of the screen, right? They are going out. If I scroll, suppose I change the second one's position property to fixed. Okay, I change its position property to fixed. Go back, hit refresh, and then scroll down. See, the position of my red, like the second child, is not getting changed even though I scroll down. So this is generally used in nav bars on the websites. Whenever we scroll down, nav bar sticks on the that particular place only. So suppose you want to create a nav bar, then you will make its position to be fixed and give the top and left position. I can give the top position to suppose 20 pixels, left to remain 0 only. See, it will move 20 pixels down, but it will stay continuously on the screen even if I scroll down. This is what this is, the position fixed property. Okay. Now what happens with position sticky? Suppose I have given this like top 20 pixels and left 20 pixels. Okay, and I have given it position fixed. Then it will move according to it will stay on its place. Even if I scroll down, it will stay on its place. Suppose I change this position fixed property to position sticky. Okay, I hit save, refresh. See, it has come back to its original position, and it will stay on its original position where it was located. The second child was located here, and as soon as I scroll down at the bottom, it will stay at that place, and even if I scroll down, it will continue to remain at that place. See, it will go back to its original position that was in its HTML document, and it will stay at that place. Have you understood the difference between this position fixed and the sticky? Fixed will go out of the flow. Okay, fixed will go out of the flow and it will remain there. But sticky, by using sticky, it will remain at its designated position where it was previously located, and as soon as it goes out of the like view of the screen, it will become fixed. It will be fixed at that place basically. Fine. Okay, so they are the different position properties: static, relative, absolute, fixed, and sticky. Okay. Now next up we have the transitions property, CSS transitions property. Now we have also seen a lot of like animations, the changing of properties in our like uh, HTML elements like CSS elements. We can also add different animations to it. So suppose I write transition of 1 second, then something animation will move for the duration of 1 second. Okay, I can also add property name, duration, at first time it will work, timing function, and then delay. So property and delay. So it can change how the like property changes. So let me give you one example. Yeah, we have one example here. Let me just copy path. Fixed, yeah, fixed will go out of the flow just like absolute, and sticky will remain on its designated position. And as soon as we scroll down, it will like move. It will become like it will stick to that particular position only, just like fixed. We use it in nav bars basically. Fine. Okay. So I have opened. Let me just paste this. See. What has happened is, as soon as I click on like refresh, you can see they are like moving. As soon as I scroll down, they are moving. Let's see what has happened here. Okay, so I have this circle at the top. Okay, yeah, I have given this style like div, a div with the class circle. Okay, and then I have this different div sections. So what has happened here is, this is my styles.css. Okay, let me just start one by one. Okay, let me just comment all of these styles. I'll explain all of these one by one. Yeah, yeah. So this is my circle for right now. Okay, this is my circle. What have I done is, I have in my styles.css, I have given a width of 300 pixel to my div, height of 300 pixels, background color of magenta. As you can see here, this is background color magenta. And I have written one transition property. What this transition property tells is, change the like background color, okay, in 1 second duration. Change the background color in 1 second duration, and change the border radius in 3 seconds duration. Okay, change the background color in 1 second duration, and then the border radius after 3 seconds. Understood? After 1 second, my background color will change. When I will hover on it. Okay, when I will hover on it, what will happen? My background color will change, and my border radius will change. So transition is basically working according to like what I give as pseudo element. I have given a hover, so whenever I will like hover on it, hover on a circle, then this transition property will start working. And when I will and what will happen at first? At first, background color will be changed after 1 second, and after that, border radius will be changed. So at what color? The background color will change to cyan color after 1 second, and border radius will change to 50% after 3 seconds. Now let's check it out. Transition property will be added when I hover on it. So when I hover on this, see, when I hover on it, when I remove, it goes back. So that's how transition property works basically. It works as per pseudo elements. When I hover on it, it will make the border radius 50% of all the sides, and the background color will be changed to cyan. Okay, understood? Background color will change, and then the border radius will be changed in the duration of 3 seconds. Understood? This is the first like transition property. Now this is some complicated stuff. Please look at it in like great detail. Okay, just a second. Yeah, so now let me just add some more like styling. Let me handle what my section divs. Okay, what this like selector is doing, it is selecting this particular section and then the div. So let me just go here. Okay, the section, the divs of the section basically. This is the section, and inside that we have div. So all of these divs inside the section will be targeted. Okay, so if I just go to my styles.css, okay, I target this section div. I start by giving height to of 100 pixel, width of 100 pixel, background color of turquoise color, margin of left of top and bottom 20 pixel, and left and right 0. Then I have the transition property of margin left of 3 seconds. So at first it will not work because I have not given any pseudo like class to it. Okay, see, these are my section divs. They all are in like turquoise color, and they are like getting displayed here. As soon as I give like pseudo property to it, pseudo class to it, like hover div. Okay, section hover. As soon as I hover on the section, okay, as soon as I hover on the section of my div, like as soon as I hover on it, let me just for simplicity make border of the section. Okay, where is my section located? I will give border of 2 pixel solid black. Okay, I have given this inline css. You'll be able to see my section basically. Okay, this is my section. As soon as I go and hover on the section, then these div will move to the 500 pixels left. Okay, they will move 500 pixel left as soon as I hover. See, I hover and they move 500 pixels to the left. See, 500 pixels to the left. So why it is happening? It is happening because of the pseudo class and the hover property, and I have written here transition margin left for a duration of 3 seconds. So it will go for a duration of 3 seconds. Okay, see, now another type of like transition property that we use is nth of time. Okay, nth of type, what it does is, suppose I, as soon as I hover on the div, it should move margin left of 500 pixels. Okay, then I use this div nth of type. Okay, I remove this nth of type. Let me add nth of type 1. Okay, div nth of type 1. Let's see what happens. As soon as I hover on this section, you can see my first one, like my first transition timing function. As soon as I write my transition timing function is in, it will move slowly as compared to rest of the sections. See, this is going different from rest of the sections. Let me add the like nth of type 2 div. Let me hit on refresh, go back. See, first one, my second one reached, then my first one. So it has also become like, it has also eased a bit. Then I add nth of type 3. Okay, this is like another type of property, cubic breezer. There are a lot of properties, you can check it out. Okay, on the web. See, there are different these are the different like properties in animations, you can check it out. Third one is going like this. Then I have defined the nth of type 4. Okay, this will also move like cubic breezer. See, so they have all have moved in the type, in different types, and they are depending on each other. Okay, the first property will work, then second, third, and fourth. So this is the div nth of type properties. So these are the transition properties in css. There are a lot of transition properties, you can check them out on the internet. I'll not be able to explain all of them in detail today, so go through it and just try like learning them on your own. Then I have this transform properties in css. So suppose I want to like rotate things. Okay, I want to rotate things like with angle, degree, radian. Suppose I want to rotate something to x direction, rotate something in y direction, z direction, then I can use this rotate property. Transform scale property, suppose I want to increase the size, translate them, or the skew property. So there are the different properties that we can use. By I can also use them at the same time by separating them by spaces. Okay, so let me just, now from here you don't have to like remember everything. You can google like these properties and you will be able to like use them in your code. Okay, yeah, I'm explaining it once. ease in will be at the starting and ease out, yeah, ease in will be at the starting of the like animation, and ease out will be at the ending. It will ease at the end. See, I have like these different transform properties are like written here. Let me also add the styles property. Okay, this is my styles.css of my transform. Okay, let me just remove close rest of the codes. Okay, so I have this. Okay, now in my first one, transform me, I have the first heading, transform me button, lol. This is this one, lol button. Okay, let's check what we have applied here as like the css portion. So in my section, what I have written in my h1, I have given different font families only. I've not done anything. In my h1, I have written nth of type to n. Okay, so in after 2n times the background color should change. Okay, in 3n type and 4n the background color should change like this. So let me just check it. Okay, if I hit lol, what happens? Something happens or not? Let me just refresh it. Nth of type section, first of type, transform, rotate 30 degrees, then h1 2. For now, what have I done? I have removed everything, like each and every portion from here. Let me just comment all of these things for simplicity. Okay, right now I'm not explaining about the nth of type to you. Okay, I'm going to just show you h1. Okay, on, let me say, change h1 when I hover on it and transform its property to like rotate it to suppose 90-degree. Okay, let's see what happens. Just a second. It's not working, I guess. Why? Okay, the transform property. I have shared the notes. I have shared the notes with. I'll ask him again to share it with you. Ease in is basically when you start the animation. Then first the animation will start at the, yeah, you should like refer w3 schools. It's a really great documentation. You'll understand everything in great details. Yeah. So right now I don't know why these transform properties are not working correctly. I'll explain it to you tomorrow after referring it, like after seeing why they are not working. Till then, write transform, try learning it on your own from W3 schools, and I'll explain it to you tomorrow. Okay. Let's start with like background for now, since we have like very little time left. So I wanted to start with the JavaScript part today. So let me just go to the background. Okay. So let's copy path, paste the portion here. Okay. So I have this like div of class name div, and I have written h1 as background image of div. If I go to my styles.css, this is not my styles.css of this styles.css. Okay, I have given width of 85 view width. VW is basically like width of like in the horizontal portion, and view height is basically vh, where we define it according to the view that we are receiving basically. Okay, here what I have done is this is some background image. Okay, let me just show you this. This is some like background image. Okay, that I have pasted the url here. So what have I done? I have written background image, then url, and inside this url I have given this particular link basically of this image. So what has happened if I have not like written this? Okay, just save, hit refresh. See, this is like my background image. Okay, from the particular URL. It is for the div. Suppose I have the height of my width, like width of my div as 100 pixels, and height of my like div as 100 pixels. I click on refresh. Okay. See, this is the like width and height of my like basically my div. Okay. Let me change it back. Yeah. So yeah, this is my like height and width of my div. Now I have also given border to it, border of 1 pixel solid black, and I have added this background image. Now let's see what had happened. Like I have given the background size of 150 pixels and 500 pixels. Let me change it and show it to you. Right now we are getting this much big like background image. Okay, let me change the background size to 200 pixels in width and 500 pixels in, or let's suppose 400 pixels in height. Go back. When I refresh it, see, my background images have reduced to 400 like 200 pixels in width and 400 pixels in height, and they are getting repeated now. Why they're getting repeated? Because they're covering the entire div region. Okay, the entire region of the div, and they are getting repeated here. As soon as I write background repeat, okay, background repeat, no repeat, I don't want to repeat the background. Let's see what happens. Now the background will not get repeated in my div. Okay, so there are a lot of properties of, like I was telling you before, there are a lot of background properties. There are like background size. Let me say background size should cover the entire div. Okay, let's see what happens here. This will cover the entire region of my div, the background size properties. Likewise, there are a lot of background properties in css. Fine, I have already told you about the Google Fonts property and everything. Okay, now we have this the Flexbox properties and the media queries inside in my intermediate HTML basically. So I will explain you about the Flexbox properties and the media queries. Rest of the CSS is what do I have to like explain to you guys about? Just try reading things on your own from W3 schools. You will be able to understand things more clearly. Otherwise, I'll take up your doubts tomorrow of the CSS uh, if you are not able to understand those things. Okay, so let's go to the Flexbox property in CSS. Let's go to the notes. Okay, now we have this Flexbox properties basically. And one thing more, please don't try memorizing the things. Focus on the concept only. Suppose I write, like we were writing display inline display block. One another thing that we can write here is display flex property. Okay, so suppose I want to write, I have written display flex. This particular line opens the like turns on the flex box. Now this is the main axis, like the x axis is the main axis, and the y axis, this axis is the cross axis. Okay, this is the cross axis, y axis is the cross axis. So by default the main axis is left to right, it is always left to right. Now Flex direction changes the direction of the main axis. Okay, by default the direction is of the main axis is by the row. Okay, row reverse, what it does, it goes from right to left. Column makes axis go from top to bottom, and column reverse bottom to top. So Flexbox makes element fit in a container. Let me show you with an example. Copy path. Yeah, so this is Flexbox basically. Okay, so what we are doing here is we have my container, our container id written on the section. My section is the container for now. Okay, I have given the container display property of flex. Okay, after that I have given flex direction of row to my container. So what will happen if I just remove where, let me just comment this out. Okay, let me just comment this out. For now nothing is in my container. Okay, I have not written any display property. A lot of things have changed. See, this is my container. Okay, and there are one, two, three, four, five divs inside my container. Okay, this particular blue section is my container. I have five child divs. One, two, three, four, five. I have five child divs inside this container basically. So suppose I write display flex. Okay, I write here display flex in my container only. See what happens. It has become, as soon as I had written display flex, all of these divs came in on the horizontal line, in the same horizontal line. Okay, see, all of them has come on the one, two, three, four, five. All of them have come to the same horizontal line. Now suppose I give them direction of row, nothing will happen. Why nothing will happen? Because by default the flex direction is row. By default the direction of flex is row. If I change this direction to column, then what will happen? Then all of them will come in the, like, all of them will come like column. Okay, if I change the flex direction to column, let me just change it back to row. Okay, I have changed it back to row. Now, what I can do is I can justify content. Just what is the meaning of justify content? Justify content is basically, we use justify content when we want to justify on the x-axis where all my content will be located. Suppose I want it on the flex like starting. Okay, then all of these contents will move to my starting. Okay, let me show you one website where you can play with like Flexbox. It's known as Flexbox Froggy. uh, yeah, please go through this website. You will be able to like, when you complete all the levels, you will be able to like know a lot of things. So we have to move this like frog to the this like green circular portion that is there. So I have this, see, this is display flex property written on pond. Okay, so I have to somehow move it there. So if there is display flex and I have to move it to justify content. Okay, justify content to flex start, not flex start, it will go to flex end. Okay, to move it to the right, it has, now my frog has moved to flex end section. I'll click on next and it, now it's correct. Okay, now I have to move this yellow flock to the yellow like line, green flock to the green line. So I have to make them at the center. So I will write justify content to center. Okay, I have moved both of them, both of the frog in the center after display flex. Same what I can do is I have to move all of them three with some space. Okay, so what I will do is I will give justify content space between. What this does, space between, it moves them in this space. Okay, space evenly, it makes these much spaces basically. Okay, space around. There are three types of like justifying options. Fine, so you can just go through this like flexboxfroggy.com. Okay, I'll make this note in my notes. Yeah, I have given the link in this notes also. Do check it out. You will have like very good grasp on like the uh, Flexbox properties. Okay, let me just explain about it. I am commenting out everything for now for you to explain all the things. Uh, just remove it. Yeah. Now nothing is on my screen for now. Nothing is on my screen. Let me take this section. Okay. Let me make one parent div. Okay. I have one parent div. Inside that, I'll make two divs. Okay. I'll make two divs. I'll yeah. I'll make two divs inside my parent div. I will give the first div class of parent. Okay. The rest two divs child one. The second div will be given child two. Okay. This I have done. Now let me write something in it. Parent child one child two. Okay. Let me give some styles to it. So parent width 100%. Okay, and height to 60 view height. Okay, background color to let's say pink. Okay, see, this is my parent div. Okay, this is my parent div. Let me give some css to child also. Child one. Okay, width of 100 pixels. I'll not make very big boxes. Height of 100 pixels. 100 pixels, and the background color to green. Background color to green. Similarly for the second child. Let me create more divs. These are two divs. Let me create more child 3, child 4. Okay, child 3, child 4. Okay, child 3, child 4. Let me add styles to it. I will change color of all these child. Yeah, let me take yellow, red, blue. Okay, so these are the different. These are my different like child. I'm not, yeah. Child 3, child 4. Okay, so there are like four boxes. My four childs inside my parent div. Okay, now let me add the display property of flex to my parent. I will always add the all the properties of flex will be added to parent, and they will affect the child basically. Okay, so I have written the flex property. All of them have come on the like row portion. Why? Because by default the flex direction is row. Okay, if I want to like change it to column, I will just write here column, and they will come in the column. Suppose I give flex direction row reverse. Then see the direction starting from the green, then yellow, then red, then blue. If I save, hit refresh, see all of them have reversed their position. Green has come to the last, and then rest of the things. Okay. Suppose I do the same for column reverse, then all of them will come to the green will come to the last and blue will come to the top, although child one was green. Fine. This is my flex direction property. So suppose row defines our main axis or the x axis. All the styling that we are doing here is for the x axis. Suppose I define the justify content as let me say flex start. Okay, so in this case nothing will happen. Okay. So in this case nothing will happen. All of these things have come to the starting. Suppose I change it to flex end, then what will happen? All of the elements, like all of the child properties, will move to the end of the x-axis. Okay. I suppose I want to justify them on the center of the web page, so I will go ahead and they will come to the center of the web page. I can also use space around. Okay, all of them will be spaced together along with the parent is also like one property. Let me just remove parent for now. Only the class will be present. Okay, so these are the space around. This is the space around. Everything is spaced around properly. Let me just remove the space around. I can also use space between. See, this is the space between. I can also use here space evenly. So they are all are evenly spaced. So this is the justify content property. I can also align them in y-axis by using the align items. Suppose I use align items center, then what will happen? They will come to the center of my web page. Fine. Suppose I use like start. Okay, then what will happen? All of them will come to the start. If I use end, all of them will go to the end of my web page. Okay, so justify content works on the x axis and align items moves on the like y axis. Now let's see what happens if I change the like direction to column. So in this case the justify content will now work on the y axis and align items will now work on the x axis. Okay, so justify content, if I have written here space evenly, then it will evenly space all my boxes in the y direction evenly, and align items will make it to the right. See, all of them are evenly spaced with justify content, and align items have shifted them to the end of my web page. Suppose I want them at the center of my x axis, so I will now change align items and they will move to the center. Okay, and justify content, let me select something else. I can also say it like start. Okay, so now all of my boxes will move to the start of my web page. Understood? No, I don't know any certification like quiz game. I know this Flexbox Froggy. You can like use it. So this is about the like the flex properties in CSS. Okay, Flexbox makes the elements fit in a container. Justify content I showed you. Then flex wrap, and you can check out flex wrap properties, the align items properties, and align content, all of them on your own. When you will play about this game, this Flexbox froggy game, you will be able to like know all of these things, all of this that is written here. Okay, just go through them. I'll share the notes, and you can also refer to W3 schools documentation. You will be able to understand all of these things. They work just the same like I have shown you previously. Okay. Now the media queries, if I want to like change anything on my web page according to like view, screen view, like suppose I want it for mobile view also, then we use media queries. Let me just copy path and paste it. Yeah, so this is media queries. Okay, I have given here style sheet of size.css. anchor and underline and list items. Okay, let me just open styles.css. Yeah, so see, this is my body, this is my h1. How we write media queries? We write at the rate media minimum width, meaning the minimum width of this particular thing, like of this whatever I write inside this. Like I have written h1 here, so its minimum width will always be 500 pixels. It will not go beyond 500, like it will not reduce after 500 pixels. For example, I have when 500 pixels comes, okay, then my h1 color will change to orange. This is this media query basically. So let me click on inspect and let's see what happens. Let me just open it more. Yeah, so in the starting I am getting this yellow color on my like media query. Why? Because my screen width is right now 1234, and when up till I have this minimum width, then I will have it for 1000 pixels. Okay, so for 1000 pixels I will have yellow color. As soon as I go below 1000 pixels, my color of media queries, my h1 has changed to orange color. See, size is also getting reduced. Okay, see, now it's red. Why it's happening? It's happening because of media queries. In media I have given min width of 500 pixels, up till then orange color 1000 pixels, 1500 pixels. Okay, I have also changed the font size. In 768 pixels font size is 4 em. Then I have like this, I have changed the direction also. So in this way, you after writing the width, you can specify css inside them for those screen widths basically. Understood? Try practicing them on your own. Practice is what is required the most. So I have this one project for you all. Just try doing this on your own after you complete the whole css portion. Okay, yeah. Can you build this particular page by using html and css? Please take the screenshot of this in just a second. Yeah, please take screenshot of this. No, you should try. You can work by practicing. Just try, only then you can understand the development portion basically. Take the screenshot of this and try building it on your own. Have you taken the screenshot? Shall I move further? Is it not visible? Is it visible now? Just a second. Are you able to see my screen now? Okay, let me just try once again.